a day of fun just down the road.
20 minutes on the clock, who can carve the best pumpkin?
Day of the Dead is November 1st. EBN takes a look into what the holiday symbolizes and how Eureka celebrates it.
We take a look at EBN's new studio and the renovation process. Meet the new and improved Scarecrow Festival and the community members that work to uphold it.
A behind the scenes of Eureka's annual Canned Food Drive. Eureka recognizes our veterans for all they do for us. All that and more.
This is EBN. Thanks for joining us for our Halloween broadcast. I'm Lexi Helms, joined alongside
Justin Rodolfi. EBN goes back to see Brookdale Farms once again to see all they have to offer for families of all ages, from hayrides to pumpkin picking, with great foods in between. Brookdale by day.
We moved our corn maze, so for the fall, our corn maze is now on the other side, and we do have ponies this year, but everything else we still kind of are rolling with the same flow for fall. We do have a completely brand new concept that we're doing this winter, and it's called Light Cycles by Moment Factory, which are beautiful light and sounds, like close to nature kind of stuff. So that's going to be going from November to March to kind of get everybody that comes here to feel in tune with nature and just experience the lights like they've never seen before. So it'll be very cool. Our newest thing coming up that will be happening November 21st is when we are going to be opening to the public. It's going to be a Thursday through Sunday, all through the winter. Tornado. That was a really scary time for everybody here. There was an actual event going on right next to where the tornado hit, and some of the roof of the venue that people were in got ripped out, and there was a wedding that Saturday, and it happened on a Thursday. So we had a bride freaking out, losing her mind, thinking her wedding wasn't going to happen. It almost didn't, but the team here at Brookdale Farms pulled permits. They all came together, and that Friday, the next morning, there were people here rebuilding the roof, redoing construction to make sure that the building was sound, that we could actually do the event. And the shed, the big storage unit shed next to it, was completely destroyed. So we had to pick up debris for weeks after that and all around. But they were actually able to have that wedding that Saturday. So it was incredible. The teamwork that came together for that and made that bride and the groom's dreams happen and come true still. So that was pretty incredible.
I assumed the general manager role here at Brookdale in July of last year, so about almost a year and a half now. Well, I think right now we're in our prime season. Fall Festival, I think, is the highlight of our year. We've been doing it the past 7 weekends. Tomorrow is the last day that we'll be open for Fall Festival. We also do, I think, a great balloon glow. That's our combination of our rodeo we do every year along with our balloon glow that we held this past year in September. So I think those are kind of our two top events. But I'm really excited about an event that's going to be starting here at the end of November. It's an event called Light Cycles, which was just announced a couple weeks ago, and it's a company out of Montreal, Canada, that's going to be doing a light and sound walking immersive experience here starting November and going through mid-March. I would tell them that this is a kind of a slice of paradise out here in Eureka. You know, it's 30 minutes from downtown St. Louis out here, and so many people. We have a new marketing team, so we're reaching a new audience, and people that have never heard of Brookdale are a lot of, coming out here for the first time and loving the property. I would tell people that we have 320 acres here, so when we have events like Fall Festival, even though we might have 3,000 to 4,000 people out here, there's plenty of room to spread out. A lot of the other fall festivals, you're kind of on top of one another because they're in a confined space, but we've got 320 acres here to spread out on. It was not too bad. You know, we had a great team that came together. We had happened during a wedding rehearsal, and we were still able to have that wedding a couple of days later in April. We had a great team that came together. We have great support of the community that came together and helped that wedding come off. We're still trying to, you know, working with the insurance company, still trying to get all put back together the way it was pre-tornado. But we're well on our way and should wrap up everything probably in the next couple months.
With a 20-minute countdown, 4 Eureka students race to carve the best pumpkin. Who will be the winner?
I'm Luke Cerdas, 20-minute pumpkin carving challenge.
Hi, I'm Emily Emerson. Hi, I'm Morgan Bilby.
My name's Wade Lusk, and I'm also participating in the 20-minute pumpkin carving challenge. Here we go.
I think the little small ones start out with the eyebrows. Oh, yeah, you gotta get the eyebrows going. Pumpkins don't have faces either, but here we are.
What 2 Halloween candies are considered the worst?
Almond Joy.
Is that the coconut one?
Yeah.
And butterscotch.
Neither of them?
Neither of them.
Like, are they like normal?
It's like, oh, candy corn? Oh, let's go. Do I get extra points for getting these right? That's not even a thing.
Favorite Halloween tradition? Carving pumpkins.
I'd say my favorite Halloween tradition is probably trick-or-treating. Yeah, I miss the good old days.
All right. Oh yeah. Looking fantastic.
All right, this is what we're working with here.
Oh, what the heck? Bro, this is tough.
Favorite Halloween candy?
Ooh, definitely 100-gram bar. 100-gram bar's the best.
I'm not gonna lie, these days, like, I can go for a good Snickers. Yeah. It's kind of a mature candy.
Dias de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, is a holiday to celebrate the families that have passed on. Typically celebrated in Hispanic cultures, EBN takes a closer look at the history of this holiday and how Eureka High School celebrates it.
Day of the Dead is a celebration in Mexico on November 1st and 2nd. It coincides with the Catholic All Saints and also Souls Day, but Day of the Dead has its own special Mexican twist because of the influence of their Native American cultures there.
It's really important to learn about others and why they believe in the things they do and why they do the things they do. Day of the Dead, I think, when I first learned about it, it seemed a little off because I didn't understand why the skeletons and the face paintings and hanging out in the cemetery. But when I learned about it, the deep meaning behind it and the perspective, I thought it was just like a beautiful tradition. But to me, it's really exciting to teach that to the students. It's not that you're gonna celebrate Dia de los Muertos, but to understand how the Mexicans honor, right, that love of everybody, and even those that are passed on.
I love how the Day of the Dead is not what you originally expect it to be, because a lot of people think it's like Halloween or it's spooky or scary, But whenever we start really getting into it, we find out that it's really about love and remembering the people that are special to you.
Well, Day of the Dead is so colorful, so sometimes we'll make the flowers, or we'll actually do posters, and so that the kids can draw, right, something that's symbolic, like an icon of the Day of the Dead, and then they can list like the products and the practices, and then write out a perspective. And that's a kind of a really fun and engaging activity that the kids have done before.
We've been very important clients of El Chico Bakery for probably over 10 years because we've always ordered from them. I think the first time we've heard of them was just because I used to take students down to Cherokee Street to walk around and see the shops and go to the restaurants. And so we just knew them as one of the first and prominent Mexican bakeries in St. Louis.
My mom grew up in St. Louis, so she knew the owners pretty well since we owned a restaurant around the same street. We were also a Mexican restaurant, so we had a lot of the same customers and such. Their food is very good. The bread is really tender and soft, and it's always freshly made. So the Dia de los Muertos bread is the little bumps on the top are associated with the bones of the dead, and the little circle on the top is the cranium. And so rather than the traditional Aztecs who used to sacrifice people, it was more like an offering of bread rather than an actual person, because it's a tradition introduced by the Spanish.
I think that it's a common perspective that we all miss the people that we've lost, and we all love the people that we have lost, and we want to remember them. So even though it feels like a different way of celebrating or remembering, it's something that everyone can connect to. It's not really about what country you're from or what religion you practice. It's about the people that you care about. So I think that it's good for students to learn about it because it helps them do that in a very tangible, obvious way to learn about different cultures.
Studio E has taken on a major renovation and deep cleaning. We take a behind-the-scenes look and speak to our journalism advisor about what this new renovation means and how it will help out our journalism department.
The studio is used for a variety of purposes. We have an area for podcasting. This area right here is where we anchor. It's also used for some photo shoots and media days by athletic teams. And it's also, we have a space for editing. So our goal in refreshing the studio was to give it more of a professional studio feel. We did that by creating a backdrop on the wall. Before we had drape backdrops, and so creating a more studio professional look to it. And we also wanted to designate areas and create a true editing space as well as a podcast space, and just make it a little more multifunctional as well as professional. The new studio brings a new look to EBN, and by creating a more professional space, it also creates kind of a better energy and vibe. The more that we can model true professional industry standards, I think that the better it is for our students, because they are striving to meet those professional industry level standards by having a sleeker, more professional space. The studio has been updated a couple of times. This used to actually be a classroom, and so when it was originally converted to a studio, it took a little bit of work to create the space, and so it's kind of an ongoing process. It's going really well. The students, this became kind of a group project. It became a bigger project than we anticipated. Once we got in here, we realized that at first we were just going to create more of the on-air anchor area space, and then we decided to create a podcast space, and then we decided to redo the editing space. And then to do that, we needed to move some things out that had been in storage. And so then students took on the task of organizing all of those materials, like bugles from the 1940s all the way to current. And so we decided to do it right the first time and get all of that really organized and housed in the proper space.
Last year, EBN spoke with Barb Shear as she announced her retirement from the Scarecrow Festival. This year, the community of Eureka felt lost without it. Many community members came together to revive it. Here is their story.
This year. Okay, so for what reason are we not doing the scarecrows this year? For the last 2 years, the city has had a decline in their interest and support. So we're a group of 14 volunteers. We're all between 70 and 85 years old, if you can imagine that. And it became increasingly harder and harder to work with people that were not supporting us. And so at the end of last year, we decided to call it quits. And when I gave my notice to retire, the city decided, instead of to store the scarecrows and hope someone could take it over this year, they decided to throw them all away. So we no longer have the 270 inventory scarecrows that we've used. So in 2013, I went to Cambria, California, and saw a Scarecrow Festival going on at that time, fell in love with it, came back, brought the idea to Eureka, presented it to the businesses, the mayor, the Board of Aldermen, got approval, got a grant for some monetary help, and we've been doing them for 10 years since 2014. So up to this point, it was rather depressing as we approached fall, and people were asking, when are the scarecrows coming out? And we had to reply, they're not happening this year, much to the shock of many people. And when this word came out, Silver Spoon Ice Cream here in Eureka, the owner there, David and Jody, they came forward and decided it was too great a project to let it die. So they have stepped up and started a website and a Facebook page and gathered volunteers. And last night, a whole group of people met at the ice cream place. And David and Jody are determined to keep this whole project alive. So unfortunately, we're starting from scratch. We have no scarecrows, but many of the businesses have their own that they'll put out. We'll see where it goes, but in about 15 days, we're going to pull off a Scarecrow Festival.
My name is Emily McKnight, and I am one of the volunteers in helping to revive the Scarecrow Festival. Taking a part in getting involved in this was primarily, there was a post made in Eureka Peeps how the Scarecrow Festival wasn't coming back, and it upset a lot of people in the community to not see that it was coming back again. And I had noticed David, the owner of Silver Spoon, had made a lot of comments within the post, like positive comments on getting it back again. So I messaged David, and we met up, and I know he had met with other people in the community on how we could revive this. He also met with, I believe, the city of Eureka and Mayor Flower, and then we just had a big group meeting with everybody interested in volunteering to help out. The project has a lot of special meaning to me. I've grown up in Eureka, so for the past, I guess, 15 years now, the Scarecrow Festival has just been a part of community and tradition. In the beginning, I don't know if I cared too much about it, but now that I have kids, for the last 8 or 9 years, they've just really loved going on our own little family tour. It's become one of our family traditions every fall is to walk around and see the scarecrows, and it just brings my kids so much joy. So when I saw that it wasn't coming back, it just broke my heart to know that I'd have to tell them, we weren't going to have it anymore. So if I could not have that conversation with them, I wanted to find a way to prevent that. Since it was kind of a scramble, it was August when we found out that it wasn't coming back. Normally they have the whole year and forever to work on it. So given we only had about 6 weeks, it was a huge time crunch. We still were able to put out about 60 scarecrows just because of so many amazing people in the community wanting to help and donate and create scarecrows. But now that we know that this is something we can bring back again, we'll have the whole next year to continue making scarecrows and maybe get back up to that 400 number of what we've had in the past. Yeah, I just think Eureka is a great community. It's a great place to live and raise kids and be a part of it, and knowing we have so many awesome people willing to donate their time, resources, whatever it is to help make things happen, it's just a really great place to be.
The Canned Food Drive is an annual event around Eureka, traditionally ran by Stuco, where the grades compete to see who can bring in the most cans. Let's take a look at how Stuco runs this annual event.
The Canned Food Drive is a massive event that Eureka High School puts on every single year, and we bring in canned goods, non-perishable items, and things that can benefit people who aren't as fortunate and don't have things to kind of make the holidays special. And it's always such a huge thing. We bring in thousands and thousands of items, up to like 60,000 items a year, and so it's pretty amazing to see the whole school come together. Yeah, so Student Council kind of runs and manages the logistics of the Canned Food Drive, so we set up the tables at the front of the school. When people bring in their cans, we help count them and sort them and pack them away into boxes. And then at the end of the Canned Food Drive, we help load them onto trucks and deliver them to the food pantries that are receiving the items. Specifically within my classes, I like to make it a competition between all my hours of how many cans can we bring in, who can bring in the most, and then having rewards kind of along the way to encourage it as well.
As president, I see my role as advocating to our classmates and to the general student body just really the importance of bringing in cans and donating items, as well as supporting our amazing Canned Food Drive chairs that are completely instrumental into making this project happen. So we organize them by having different collection tables set up each morning. We have one for each grade level, and as people come in, we have our amazing dedicated student council members counting cans and taking the point values of them.
And then students from your class give cans and other food non-perishable items to Stuco members, and then we get them and then we like mark them all down by grade level. We collect what class they're in and then their grade level, and then we bring them over to Mr. Gensler, and he puts them into like a stack of cans.
Depends, like we'll get the tables set up and then like people start assigning roles, so like we'll have like runners to run back and forth from the desk where we pick them up to where we store them to send out to the food pantries and all that. And then we'll have people packing and then just kids collecting, handing out tickets for you to give to your 5th hour teacher. So it's kind of like a well-oiled machine. And then from there it's like divided into the grades and stuff. They go all over St. Louis. So some go to the Eureka food pantry, others will go to ones downtown or stuff like that, just anywhere they need them.
EBN spoke with Dr. Arledge about what the Military Appreciation Wall is and what it means to both students and staff here at Eureka.
The story behind the Military Wall of Honor is a couple years ago, Dr. Arledge and myself were asked to represent Veterans Day, or a veteran celebration for Eureka High School. And we got together, got some ideas going, and once Dr. Arledge gets some ideas going, you gotta kind of execute them. So we did a Veterans Day celebration last year, which then jumped off to the Field of Flags that we also did last year and going into its 2nd year. And we thought of a wall of honor to represent all of our Eureka High School alumni and current students that are in the military.
The Wall of Honor, I think, is a huge thing for recognizing our veterans, especially in Eureka. It's something to give back, but it's something to show that we appreciate them. We appreciate their commitment and their dedication and their sacrifice for everything that they've done. Same with the Purple Star School. It's a big honor to have that. It's one of 9 high schools in Missouri that we are recognized as being a military-friendly school, and we support military families. With the wall, it's just a way of showing, look, you know what, we love you, we care about you, we thank you.
I have family that is currently in the military, Navy, Marines, and Army, actually. Yes.
I have family that's in the military, but I have a lot of friends that are in the military. So when I was graduating from high school, one of the big things was go to the military. Especially in Oklahoma and Texas, it's kind of what you did. And so I had a lot of guys that I knew going to the Marines, going to the Navy, and it's just to hear their stories, to hear what they've been through, to hear what they do. It's really gratifying to hear how well they've done and how passionate they are about this country and about their freedoms.
Being passionate about Eureka High School and the Veterans Day is, of course, I have family and friends. My dad was a Army veteran. So to jump into that makes it all the more special to me to be a part of.
I mean, I think our community is one that appreciates the military already. You know, they're very passionate about our military and our first responders. I just don't want us to forget. I want it to be there. I want it to be a symbol of, look, this is something that we put on a pedestal, that we hold dear, and we think that this is important. And so that everybody that walks through those doors into the atrium and sees that wall or sees the Purple Star School banner, or sees it out on 109, you know, they know that this school and this community, you know, really care and really kind of put the military on a pedestal. And so that's what we said when we first got the Purple Star School was, you know, this is something not just for Eureka High School, but this is something for the community. And I've always thought that, you know, our high school is truly a community school. It's one that, you know, we do a lot for the community, but the community is a lot for us. And so it's a partnership, and this is something to show our love for them.
That's all from us here from Studio E at Eureka High School. For EBN, I'm Lexi Helms.
And I'm Justin Rodolfi. We'll see you soon, cats.